The jury is now in the sentencing phase, and they will reconvene here in Bentonville tomorrow at 9 in the morning for a second day of testimony. Jay, as you can see, the rain is really coming down here in Centerton. We're alongside Fish Hatchery Road inside Centerton, and as you can see, the water levels are starting to pick up. Heather, the Benton County Dive and Rescue Team, was called here to Beaver Lake tonight in an effort to try and locate a 21-year-old female who went missing after she fell out of her paddle boat. Ultimately, emergency crews decided it would be more safe to leave the man inside of his home than it would be to bring him out across these rushing waters. The 911 call describes a very horrific scene here at Beaver Lake yesterday as a teenager calls 911 to describe a scene which he had just watched unfold before his eyes. Alan Bland says it is not clear if any of those driving those jet skis had taken the required courses in order to drive them. He also says alcohol and drugs do not seem to be a factor at this time. With all of the heavy rain we've been experiencing recently, the water levels here at Beaver Lake have been rising, and for obvious reasons, individual campgrounds like this have been closed, forcing some people to pack up and head home early. We are following a developing story tonight out of Springdale. We're at the intersection of Maryland and Crawford in Springdale, where police say a shooting did occur. Go ahead and take a look behind me, where you can still see where suds remain on the floor where the fire department had to clean up the blood splatter from this shooting. We're hearing from some eyewitnesses that this was a shooting involving a teenager who was riding his bicycle through the neighborhood. We spoke to one eyewitness who tells us that he sees this boy riding through this neighborhood all the time, and he seems to be a very nice boy. He said he was in his house when he heard the gunshots. Once again, the suds still on the side of the road where the fire department had to wash away all the blood from where this teenager was shot. The eyewitness tells us that after he called 911, within minutes, more than 8 police cars were on scene. He also tells us that an off-duty officer lives in the area. Back in 2008, Mary Hood's cabin, the dream home she would later retire in with her husband, was flooded, built up on a hill, yet still not high enough to avoid all the water falling from Beaver Dam. These here are the reports filed by the Jonesboro Police Department, and they show 2 rape allegations were made against Mauricio Torres in 2004, and a third investigation in 2007 re-examined those 2 prior incidents. However, no charges were ever brought against Torres. Heather, it was just after 5:30 this evening when the owner of this property says the storm came through his land, damaging a lot of his property where he owns chicken houses. Now, those students that we spoke with tell us that, of course, they would like to see those extra tuition dollars go towards their respective departments. The Army Corps of Engineers says they currently have 125 campsites closed due to flooding like what you're seeing, but they say they still have plenty of campsites available for anyone who is still interested in camping this weekend.